For many years, the scientific community has functioned under the belief that we are solitary in the universe, attributing any unusual phenomena in the sky to natural occurrences. But what if the actual observable data suggests otherwise? For the past 6 decades, our quest for extraterrestrial intelligence has yielded no results until now. An object within our solar system is acting unpredictably, and it has just transmitted a signal. I'm Avi Loeb, and I am asserting that what we are witnessing is not a question of belief, but a matter of evidence. Right now, something remarkable is unfolding in our solar system, something unprecedented in human history. In the early morning of October 17, 2025, deep within California's desert, NASA's Deep Space Network detected a signal. This wasn't mere noise or static. It was a structured, repeating electromagnetic pulse, originating from a mysterious interstellar object known as 3I Atlas. This is the same entity that has been perplexing scientists since it first traversed our solar system. The signal persisted for precisely 11.3 seconds per cycle, recurring with impeccable accuracy every 47 minutes. At this juncture, the data becomes particularly unsettling. Over just 5 hours of observation, the signal strength escalated by more than 300%. It was as if something within that hollow object was awakening, charging, and gearing up for what comes next. This surge in power poses one of the most puzzling aspects. Natural phenomena, such as pulsars, are known for their remarkable stability. They don't simply surge by 300% over a matter of hours. This indicates a deliberate mobilization of energy, a process that hints at decision-making. It's akin to the distinction between a lighthouse and a spotlight that is intentionally intensified. NASA engineers dismissed the possibility of instrument malfunctions, while SETI specialists eliminated any natural explanations. What they detected was not chaos. Rather, it constituted communication, a coherent transmission from something that may not be a comet at all. Then, 3 days later, everything shifted because that signal didn't just persist, it transformed. It became directional, and trajectory analysis indicated that it was aimed directly at Earth. Stay with me, because what follows will require us to rethink our understanding of the universe itself. When NASA's Deep Space Network initially locked onto the signal from 3 Atlas, scientists speculated it could have been a coincidence, perhaps mere background interference, or a stray echo from a satellite or other cosmic noise. However, upon analyzing the frequency, everything changed. The transmission was arriving at 1.42 gigahertz, exactly the frequency emitted by hydrogen, the universe's most ubiquitous element. Astronomers refer to this as the water hole. Imagine the radio spectrum as a vast, noisy stadium. The water hole represents a universally quiet frequency band, shielded by the laws of physics. It's the one region where any technologically aware civilization would recognize the need to listen. Selecting this frequency is akin to sending an email with the subject line, "Read me," articulated in a universal language. It signifies an intentional and intelligent choice. In simpler terms, whoever sent this signal intended for it to be comprehended. Yet, this was no ordinary tone. Within the repeating 11.3-second cycle were layers of complexity, intricate patterns that appeared to convey encoded information, picture Morse code, but at a level far beyond, operating across various timescales. Subpatterns emerged every 1.7 seconds, and within those rapid modulations, flickers appeared every fraction of a second, as if concealing a hidden message. NASA analysts called in cryptographers, radio engineers, and even experts in artificial intelligence to interpret it. Following an exhaustive cross-examination of all known natural sources, pulsars, magnetars, quasars, and solar interference, they reached a startling conclusion that sent shockwaves throughout the agency. The likelihood that this signal was artificial exceeded 99.7%. This was the moment when unease began to ripple silently through NASA's control rooms. If this signal is not random, if it is not a product of nature, then something out there is intentionally communicating with us. Just when scientists believed they were beginning to grasp the situation, 3 Atlas did something unexpected. 3 days after the initial finding, the pattern that had captivated scientists suddenly shifted. On the night of October 20th, shortly after 11:15 p.m. Eastern Time, the transmission from 3 Atlas transformed. Gone was the steady pulse resonating through space. Instead, it became a concentrated, purposeful burst. For 8 minutes and 24 seconds, the signal refined, collapsing from a broad cosmic broadcast into a sharply directed beam. Data from the Arecibo Legacy Observatory in Puerto Rico surged back to life in a frenzy, confirming the unthinkable. That beam wasn't drifting aimlessly in the void. It was precisely targeted at Earth. Natural radio emissions don't behave this way. They scatter and radiate in all directions like ripples on a pond. Yet what NASA was observing appeared engineered, capable of focusing electromagnetic energy over vast astronomical distances with surgical precision. The mathematical requirements for this feat are staggering. To tighten a beam so narrowly over such distances spanning hundreds of millions of miles entails an aperture or dish potentially miles wide, or employing exotic physics beyond our current understanding. This accomplishment signals a technological capability far exceeding our own. What's more, engineers recalculated the data repeatedly. The alignment was not by chance. The orientation of 3I Atlas, the vector of the beam, and Earth's placement in space all aligned perfectly. Something or someone was purposely targeting us. And here lies the element that keeps NASA scientists awake at night: the timing. The signal shifted just 9 days before 3I Atlas was destined to swing behind the sun, completely concealed from our observation, as if it were saying, "Watch closely before I vanish." Was it a greeting, a warning, or a countdown? No one at NASA had definitive answers. Yet one fact was clear: whatever is contained within that interstellar traveler just made its initial move. By dawn on October 21st, the atmosphere within NASA had transformed from curiosity to a controlled frenzy. In every control room, from Goldstone to Goddard, whispers replaced chatter, and screens that had once displayed live telemetry now bore only the word classified. The signal was authentic, it was directional, and it was growing stronger. Normally, a discovery of this magnitude would ignite the scientific community with press releases, interviews, and global headlines. But this time, silence. No tweets, no remarks, just an eerie absence of communication. That's when word began to leak regarding something referred to as the Discovery Protocol, a classified emergency framework that NASA developed after the peculiar flyby of Oumuamua several years prior. It specifies the necessary steps in the event of detecting evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Step 1. Verify the data. Step 2. Alert governmental and military contacts. Step 3. Observe a 72-hour blackout in communications before any official public announcement. This is meant to prevent misinformation. Unofficially, it serves to buy time. But here's the surprising twist. Those 72 hours have passed. We are now beyond the 5-day mark, and not a single agency, NASA, the European Space Agency, nor China's National Space Administration, has uttered a word. Even the International Astronomical Union, which typically updates discoveries almost instantaneously, has remained entirely silent. I could not stay quiet. As the director of the Galileo project, I broke this silence with a post that subsequently went viral among insiders. I stated, "We are witnessing institutional paralysis in the face of the extraordinary. This is not how science operates. This is how fear functions. And perhaps I am correct. For when the globe's space agencies simultaneously cease communication, one must wonder what they are witnessing that we are meant to ignore. Stay with me, because the narrative soon shifts from secrecy to a more unsettling reality. 3I Atlas may not merely be delivering a message. It might be observing us and evaluating how we react." As NASA's silence deepened, I stepped forward to fulfill the role of a scientist, to consider the unthinkable based on the data. If 3I Atlas was indeed transmitting purposefully, then the inquiry was not just about its content, but about its intent. I outlined 3 potential scenarios, each more disconcerting than the last. First, which I refer to as the benign hypothesis, posits that 3I Atlas could simply be an ancient probe, a robotic emissary dispatched by a long-extinct civilization, quietly performing its programmed task. The signal may merely be a status beacon, a courteous indication that says, "I see you, I acknowledge your presence." In this instance, we would not be under threat, just part of its cosmic data collection, a single stop among innumerable others. Next is the warning hypothesis. This suggests that the signal's timing, coinciding with perihelion, the object's closest approach to the Sun, may not be coincidental. I speculated that the hollow interior of 3I Atlas might house smaller units or probes intended to deploy while it remains obscured behind the Sun, thus entering the one moment during which we cannot observe it. The message might be a precaution, a calm voice in the dark stating, "We are about to release something. Do not interfere." Lastly, we have the third scenario, which chills even the most rational minds, the test hypothesis. This scenario speaks to the most profound aspect of our situation from an educational perspective. If this is indeed a test, it is not a test of our technology, but of our maturity as a species. Can we unite globally when confronted with something so monumental? Or do we shatter into distrustful and secretive factions? The test hinges not on our technological capabilities, but on our capacity to face the truth. Because here's the uncomfortable reality. At this moment, humanity's reaction hasn't been one of bravery. It has been marked by silence, secrecy, and fear. If some intelligence out there is indeed observing, that reaction becomes a piece of data. Each pulse, every beam, every confidential government meeting is being recorded not by us, but by whatever intelligence has sent this signal. As 3I Atlas approaches the Sun, one question becomes ever more prominent. Are we the observers, or are we the observed? By now, every fragment of data concerning 3I Atlas has reached a point of unavoidable significance. The deeper I investigated, the stranger it grew, until I finally voiced what no one else wanted to admit. The odds of this being a natural object are dwindling to almost nothing. Let us analyze the evidence. This object does not behave like any recorded comet or asteroid. It is hollow, with an internal density inconsistent with solid rock. Upon entering the solar system, it decelerated something no space debris could achieve without some form of propulsion. Its trajectory aligns perfectly with the ecliptic plane to within mere degrees, a precision that would make even our most advanced space engineers cringe. Recall the Mars flyby. The timing was so precise that scientists assess the odds of coincidence at less than 1 in 50,000. Then there are the green spectral emissions, strange chemical signatures that no known element can produce naturally. This spectral data is crucial. We understand what burning elements appear as, a field known as spectroscopy. We can identify the composition of stars from light years away, yet these green emissions don't correlate with any known element or chemical reaction. This suggests either an entirely new type of chemistry, or, more likely, the byproduct of an advanced propulsion system beyond our comprehension. It presents a chemical fingerprint that vehemently indicates non-natural origins. Additionally, we have the coherent electromagnetic signal broadcasting at the hydrogen frequency, pulsing with complex mathematical structure before narrowing into a directed beam aimed directly at Earth. Suddenly, every coincidence converges. Each anomaly might stretch credulity when considered in isolation, but together they obliterate it. The evidence does not depict a comet. It describes a machine, something engineered, something ancient, traversing light, years of interstellar space with intention. I warned then, and I caution now, that humanity might already be experiencing first contact, and we are nowhere near equipped for the implications that entails. If this object has been monitoring us, it may have been doing so for months, quietly assessing, recording, adapting, and the signal we have received might not be a greeting at all. It could serve as an activation. So, as October 29th draws near, the day 3I Atlas disappears behind the Sun, the world's most powerful telescopes are being repositioned, every sensor fine-tuned, every antenna adjusted. For once it passes beyond the solar glare, we will lose track of it for 3 long weeks. And when it re-emerges, we will discover what lies ahead. As October 29th approached, a quiet tension swept through the scientific community, the kind that resonates deep in your bones when something monumental is about to unfold. 3I Atlas was now just days away from its perihelion, the closest pass to the Sun, and every deep space antenna on Earth was trained on its position. Yet something peculiar was happening. That one strong signal began to change. It didn't fade. Rather, it condensed into narrower, faster bursts, each more intricate than the last. The hydrogen frequency now carried modulated harmonics, layered tones that some described as musical, while others likened it to mathematical poetry. No natural source could produce such complexity. The signal seemed to be gearing up, building toward a final broadcast. At NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, engineers detected something even more alarming. The object's velocity was ever so slightly decreasing, almost as if it were applying reverse thrust. A comet moving toward the sun should be accelerating, not slowing down. This detail represents perhaps the most critical piece of evidence. This isn't merely a deviation. It's a defiance of Kepler's laws of planetary motion. An object must speed up when approaching a massive body like our sun. To decelerate, to slow down, necessitates a significant expenditure of energy. This marks the smoking gun of propulsion. It isn't drifting aimlessly, it is actively navigating. Yet, 3I Atlas defied gravity's pull as if it were braking. Simultaneously, telescopes in Chile, Hawaii, and Spain captured fleeting glimmers of light flickering on its surface, triangular patterns rotating in synchrony, akin to a code sequence being performed in real time. Some scientists drew comparisons to a communication protocol. Others suggested it resembled a mechanical metamorphosis. Then I stated the uncontroversial fact. When geometry, symmetry, and modulation all align in deep space, you are not observing a rock, but recognizing intention. 3 concentric spirals overlapped, resembling a cosmic signature. Some suggested it mirrored a magnetic field map. Others pointed out its uncanny resemblance to an inverted DNA double helix. And then, silence. For the ensuing 72 hours, scientists globally raced to analyze the data, scavenging for any residual traces. Yet, the deep space tracking systems, even those sensitive enough to detect Voyager well beyond the heliopause, yielded nothing. Not even dust. The trajectory that once guided 3I Atlas was now deserted. In an emergency interview, I articulated it simply. When a natural object traverses beyond the sun, one can anticipate its emergence. However, this one defied physics. It followed intention. Here lies the unexpected twist. During the blackout, a new signal emerged, not from deep space, but from the Earth's own upper atmosphere. The same pulse pattern, but reflected back toward the sun. Was it an echo, a response, or confirmation that whatever Atlas was, it had already arrived? For in the silence between our transmissions and the sun's glare, a transformation had occurred, something unseen, something patient. In 3 weeks, when Atlas emerges from the sun's shadow, the world will discover what awaits. By late November, after 3 long weeks of anticipation, 3I Atlas finally reappeared from behind the sun. However, what astronomers witnessed defied every expectation. It was not merely continuing on its predicted trajectory. Something had altered. Its course had subtly adjusted, almost suggesting a deliberate correction. And the signal, the one that had been silent for weeks, posed a profound choice for the world: to continue observing in awe, or to attempt communication in return. Yet the more troubling realization was this: whatever intelligence sent 3I Atlas was studying us, gauging our reactions, and perhaps testing whether humanity is ready for contact. As the nights continued, the message grew clearer. The universe wasn't simply presenting a visitor. It was issuing a challenge, a warning, a question. What will we do next? Are we prepared for the implications? The most significant lesson here is not merely that the universe is bizarre. It is about the scientific method itself. We must pursue the evidence wherever it may lead, even if that path disrupts our most cherished beliefs. Our institutions have demonstrated a tendency to prefer comfortable silence rather than confronting uncomfortable truths. This represents a failure of courage. The true test is not just their arrival. It is whether we are mature enough to acknowledge what lies directly before us. This object serves as a mirror. It reflects our scientific paralysis. The evidence is there. What does it convey to you? Do you concur with my hypothesis? I invite you to share your analysis in the comments below, as this constitutes the most crucial dialogue humanity can engage in. If you believe in following evidence, even when it is extraordinary, then subscribe to this channel as we embark on the ongoing search for truth.